मिले हम, we met in Pali Village Cafe. It's in Mumbai. Morning है meeting है. He tells me that. So I was supposed to join Loco that time. मैंने Loco के लिए apply किया था. He told me that hey, I have a bigger problem for you. Just don't handle Loco. How about we build a grow team from scratch and you handle all of the rest, which is FilterCopy, Dice Media, Gobble, and we were supposed to build 2 new brands from scratch. And
so
we
you
have
are basically handling 25% of YouTube.
Not really, but the numbers were massive. Like FilterCopy used to do, I don't know the numbers now, used to do somewhat around 300 to 500 million views per month, just FilterCopy. Then there is Dice Media, which is separate. So it was massive. So the model and the ask was this, that hey, start a growth team who will decentralize data teams, who will decentralize product teams and everything. Interestingly, my boss was a product person. He was the chief architect of Loco. And so basically he's a coder, he's a software engineer by default. That was a pretty interesting game, that me not reporting to any CMO, and the conversations you have with a product person is extremely different actually. Right. The logic, the worldview, the logic reasoning is absolutely different. There is no gut feeling that is involved mostly. There is mostly data structures. There is mostly about how world works and everything. That helped. So it was just, we started from a 2-member team. The idea there was decentralized data. So we trained, our job was to build growth loops, train the lowest denominator person in a company, in a content company. Who are those? Writers, editors and all. Train them with data. So like the lowest level person of a company, according to the levels, the writer speaks about retention. Now, unfortunately, a lot of product people don't understand retention, but in Pocket Aces you go, you will see just 1 year experienced video editors talking about retention, reading retention graph, कि अच्छा यहाँ पे drop हुआ, यहाँ पे बढ़ा, what can we do and not. That was a structure there. PayTm had a centralized structure. So that was a major difference कि अच्छा इसको decentralize करते हैं, उसको centralize करते हैं.
Yeah. So how is the journey of content driven? You can say that as a product as well, but content driven company to Better Half, which is completely a product driven company.
Correct.
So वहाँ पे how is growth different? Are these basics same as you talked about retention?
Right.
Retention in a video, a lot depends on the content, a lot depends on how you're speaking.
Right.
But product, nobody is there to speak, but your product should speak. So how is that different?
It's actually a lot different. So Silicon Valley has a growth concept, and because the concept has come from there. Now there used to be someone called as growth engineers, and growth engineers were nothing but your generic engineers who has an understanding of psychology or design sense and everything. Basically, you can call them full stack engineers who can build products. Not every engineer can build a good product, and not every product person can code also and build everything. That's why there is a school of product people who use no code, and then there is a school of product people who use code and everything. And those two schools actually fight with each other on Twitter. I keep on saying कि नहीं no code में करनी चाहिए, ये लोग कहते हैं नहीं scratch से code में करो and everything. But at here we, at least it was my humble attempt for the first time to formalize and bring the growth culture, which is basically either you report to the CTO or the CEO, and you can then choose whichever is the best. I chose to do it CTO, and the reason is pretty simple, that if product team and the growth team and the marketing team report to the CTO, then marketing team का कुछ deprioritize नहीं होगा. So generally in companies what happens is every company CTO and CMO fight for one reason. CMO बोलेगा कि 5 clever tap events we want to pass. CTO बोलेगा नहीं, I have my PRD, which is a never ending PRD pipeline, and it won't be sure. This won't be prioritized because उनको ये समझ नहीं आ रहा है. Now the attempt was कि अच्छा, what if we give all the responsibility to one person, so that तो करना ही है अब तो I think that's a better move. If now the good part is your CTO needs to understand the importance of marketing also. Like if the CTO thinks कि अरे marketing वाले पैसे खाते हैं, and
which is true, by the way.
which is true. Fortunate fact is marketing is the only thing that runs the flywheel. Now your product can be, we'll talk about the product-led growth, But unfortunately, your network effect won't work unless performance marketing kickstarts. Unfortunately, unless you are building a social networking app
Yeah.
and you get lucky,
I completely agree with
and
this.
you get lucky being the major word. You can build a social networking app and be a big failure. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
So yeah, majorly that is the difference. The idea here is it's a full functional team. So we have the whole content in house, like the producers, the writers, the directors, the editors, everything in house. Same CRM in house, retention in house. The product marketing is in house. I mean, everything under one team working together. We have web developers separate from the tech team. So we have just two web developers कि अच्छा फटाफट काम करके निकाल लेंगे. So I won't need to go through the recurring timeline कि अरे मेरे पास काम है बहुत मैं नहीं करने वाला and all stuff. This is actually the basic Silicon Valley structure, which is either you make pod structures multiple,
Right.
and then assign people कि अच्छा एक दो projects पे काम कर रहे हैं, or you just have a full-fledged team,
Right.
and they just closely work together as whatever they comes.
Yep.
So I have chosen the second structure. Pod structure अभी आया नहीं है. But yeah, that's why it's a very very different scale altogether. In content, you can have a basic minimal team. You don't need a lot of analytical data. You need data actually in content, but it's a different ball game in products. It's a mad rush in products actually. So yeah, that's how it's all different.